Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Norton. Welcome to Comic-Con, sir. Hopefully the city's been treating you well so far.
Yeah, we've done a good job here. It's been nice. I really am enjoying it.
Great. So, definitely open up to some questions here in a little bit. Lots to talk about, mostly going to be wrestling, but let's talk about some of your upbringing. You're a Minnesota boy, is that right?
Yeah, born and raised Minnesota for a good long time. It's been a long time since I've been back home, I'll tell you that. I'm living down south now in Houston. I was in Atlanta for quite a while. So it's
The winters are better now, right?
a little warm down there. I'm actually out of my element a little bit, but that's okay.
There you go. So, growing up, were you a wrestling fan, first of all?
Of course. Minnesota's AWA was a big deal there. Vern Gagne's, with all the old time Baron von Raschke and the Crusher and guys like that. It was a good time.
Awesome. So, at what point in life did you decide that you wanted to get into the wrestling business?
Well, okay, I graduated high school with Hawk, one of the Road Warriors. Kurt Hennig and Rick were very good friends of mine. They all started right away. They were going into pro, and they were just trying to pull me with them. And I said, brother, I'm not ready for it. I just ain't what I want to do yet. So I went and pursued my arm wrestling career. And to be honest with you, I was offered a training contract from New Japan when I was in Japan arm wrestling. And I talked to Hawk about it. Hawk told me he'd kill me if I didn't take it. I said, New Japan a good company? He said, it's an awesome company. And so I took the contract and started my career. So it wasn't a passion. I loved it. It turned into be a passion. I mean, I'll be the first one back in the ring. I know that everything comes to an end as you get older and your body starts wearing out and can't do it like you used to, but if I could, I'd be that quick.
So in the early days of breaking in, who actually did break you in?
Well, I went through Brad Reagan's camp, and I started in AWA before they turned over, and then I went out west to Portland with Don Owens, and I spent a good year there, and that's where I really got the experience I needed, working in front of a camera, working on TV, live TV, and we worked every night.
So you were Brad Rankin's guys initially. So it seems like all the Minnesota boys were either you were a Gagne guy, you were an Eddie Sharkey guy, or you were Brad Rankin's guy.
Well, Vern and Brad is basically the same camp.
Okay.
Brad took over Vern's camp, so it's just like Vern and Eddie Sharkey. And Sharkey had a good group of guys too, but
sure.
There's a lot of pro wrestlers come out of Minnesota. That's
right.
For sure.
Yeah, it's always been that way. I mean, Brock Lesnar's a Brad Rankin's guy. I mean, it's always been a hotbed. It still is. So.
Yeah, I mean, Brock's taken it to a great. He's gone all the way.
So then, okay, then it was Portland for Don Owens, and you hear a lot of great things about that territory. Roddy Piper becoming a star there.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, it was crazy. It was fun. First time I did a show, and for Portland, we were doing it in the Army, one of the buildings there where the barracks is, and I'm sitting there, I'm talking to Don Owens, Don Owens and Len Denton, the booker, and the window opens up, and I go, what the hell? And all of a sudden I seen two hands come up, and Piper pulled himself through the window. And I'm going, what the hell is going on? And he jumped down, he turned to me, he says, hey, all righty. I said, how you doing, bud? He says, I didn't want to come in the front way and get everybody all stirred up. The crowd that night was 48. So, I mean, when I say he's crazy, he's a great guy, but that was a little.
Very cool. All right, and the biggest success you probably had prior to WCW would have been in Japan, right? So
oh, absolutely.
New Japan, IWGP Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah,
I mean, and if you look at the boom now, I think it's unquestionable. New Japan is the second biggest company in the world, right behind WWE. So for
Oh,
someone
absolutely, yeah.
who was a big part of that early on, talk to us a little bit about your time in New Japan.
Well, when, I'd like to say when I was there, we were the second biggest company in the world then.
There you go.
And New Japan's got just a great history. And the kids out, the guys that are doing it now, unbelievable crew. It's a different style. It's a different way. You know, I mean, we were straight up strong style. I mean, it was more of a blood and guts, say. These guys are workers. They're a little bit longer matches. And, you know, it's sort of like MMA fighting the Circus Soleil. In my eyes, I mean, they're taking it a style that I wouldn't have liked. I wouldn't have done, but I mean, you know, I was at the Dome Show a couple years ago, and they were going crazy for it. They're selling out. They're doing a great job.
Just gotta give the people what they want. But I'm a little more like you. I tend to favor a little more like Misawa and Kawada versus your Ospreys and Ricochets. So
Absolutely.
very different
I mean,
style. There's room for both.
Yeah.
But yeah, very, very different style. I
Yeah.
like a more hard-hitting style. Like,
No question about it.
there's nothing fake about it. So
Well, you know, the business is a business, but I wouldn't. It just wasn't for me. You know, I mean, a guy like me, the reason I was brought in to do what I did, Masa Saito, you know, he wanted a guy to come in and put a hammer on him, and I did.
yeah, you were the man for the role.
You know, it fit me perfect. I was very fortunate at the time when I came along, and the style that they were working then.
Very cool. So moving on to where most people would know you the most from would be your time in WCW. You started out early on, did some tag stuff with Ice Train, Aspiring Eyes, and then obviously the bigger time was when you joined the NWO. You were always kind of the muscle in the background of the NWO. Did some tagging with Buff Bagwell, Vicious and Delicious.
Yeah, that was great.
Talk to us a little about your WCW experience.
Well, early on in WCW, I wasn't quite as happy as I was after I got into the NWO. And when that happened, it was awesome. I mean, you know, me and Buff took off like a rocket. Marcus, when he broke his neck, we were in line. I mean, we were going right to the top. But the NWO was great. You know, I got to take it to Japan, and a lot of people don't understand this, but in Japan, the NWO was as big as this here. And I mean, 20 years later, I'm at a show. There's 50 people out there with NWO shirts on. They're popping. I mean,
That's right.
it's just awesome. That thing lives on forever, you know. And it just was a great time to be there.
Very cool. So a couple of the things people may or may not know about you, not related to pro wrestling, is your experience as an arm wrestler. So jumping way back, tell us a little about your arm wrestling days and also about, because of that, your involvement in the Stallone movie Over the Top.
You know, coming right out of high school, even in junior high school, that's when I first met Rick Rude. We're best buds. But, you know, we used to pull. And, let me talk about that later.
No problem. Yeah, he's one of the greatest, absolutely. So another interesting thing that you did that most people may not know about was you were actually a bodyguard for another Minnesota boy, Prince. Is that right?
Yeah.
Any fun stories about that?
Yeah, one that got me fired. I mean, Prince was a different kind of cat. You know, he was. The funniest thing about it is, I went to Henry High School. He went to North, and they were just right next to each other. And there was a guy named Colin Anderson. He was about 6'5", about 350 pounds. And he'd be standing there on the other side of the sidelines for a football game, and then the Prince is next to him about this tall. And Colin played nose guard center, and I played nose guard center. And we used to just tear the hell out of each other. So when, at an arm wrestling tournament, world tournament, that was being done in Minnesota, because I was one of the up-and-coming heavyweight arm wrestlers coming up, his bodyguard entered it. His name's Chick, and, I just tore his arm off. He offered me a job, but anyways, getting back to that, me and Cullen used to I was all-state nose guard as a nose guard. He was all-state as a center. And I thought I was a better center than he was anyways, but I mean, we used to just kill each other. And when they brought me in to apply for the job, he goes, and I couldn't believe it, he knew who I was. I said, good God, But it was from back in the day, because, Prince never got in the game. He was just 4'10", he weighed about 50 pounds. I mean, he was small then, but working for him, it was only 9 months. We got to tour quite a bit. It was good. It was cool especially being from Minnesota, working for it. But I mean, the hours were just crazy. And he would bring a NBA-sized basketball hoop with him, the authentic, but and we're all playing basketball, and he gets in. He come driving down the lane, and he went for a layup, and I just batted it about. And everybody stopped. They looked at me like, what the hell's the matter with you? And I'm going, let's play. Man, that was it.
So you didn't make him look good, so we let you go. Holy cow.
It was a couple other things happened, but.
Interesting. That's a fun thing to be able to say you did, though. I don't think a lot of
No,
people
it was
know
great.
about that.
It was awesome. I mean, he was incredible.
Well, cool. So, shall we open up to a few questions here? Just throw your hands up. I'll point to you, and let Scott know what you'd like to know. Right back here.
Who was one of your favorite guys to work with?
One of my favorites in the States, I'll say Scott Steiner. In Japan, there's so many. I mean, Muda, Tanahashi was great when he got going, coming up. Nagata was great. I mean, I worked, a lot of big matches here. But, I got to work Sting, Luger, Mach, guys like that. But in Japan, I got to wrestle the top guys so many more times. And, the guys in Japan were, I wrestled them all, but they're all tops.
Yeah.
What was it like to wrestle for and win the IWGP Heavyweight Championship?
That was unbelievable. I mean, the thing about it is with that championship, what you got to do before you get there. I mean, you have to win the office. You got to just make sure they believe in you. And I mean, you can't miss matches. You got to keep getting better. They're on you constantly because that's the biggest championship there. And it was an honor to win it twice. But I mean, when I first got my hands on that bugger, boy, it was awesome. But it's a struggle. It's just like here, I mean, you got to prove yourself time and time again, and you got to make sure that you're at a level where, you can carry it and go with it. So, yeah, that was awesome.
For a follow-up on that, how did you feel? So, in New Japan, you're like the top champion, and then in WWE, you're still kind of just doing the mid-level stuff. Did you feel like WWE didn't value as much, or they didn't see you like where you think you should have been?
Well, the boys did. I guess the office might not have. A couple guys, might have been in my way. But you got to understand, too, that I wrestled two territories at the same time. And the NWO at that time was huge in Japan. And, I was running back and forth, so it's hard to get something going full time. The time that I was promised a good run fell apart, and I mean, it was so political in WCW. And unless you ain't got it written in your contract, there's nothing you can do about it, so.
Anybody else? Yeah.
I watch a lot of your matches where they try to prove you as like a big powerhouse, like in WCW and stuff. They'll run you in a brick wall sometimes with a Goldberg or the Big Show, the Giant at the time. Do you remember a time or a match where obviously you had a huge display of power and just kind of decimated someone in the ring?
Sure. Heck, I could have decimated them two guys if I wanted to tell you the truth. I mean, I've never been in a ring where I didn't feel like, I mean, I'm taking that back. I mean, you know when you're in the ring with a badass, you know, but I've never felt like out of place. And when it comes to, you know, running, you know, it was unfair sometimes what they asked of me of matches, you know, because, I mean, Juventud or a guy like that, I mean, to give me 5 minutes of Juventud's ridiculous. You know, I mean, it just doesn't work. And then when you get a match with the Giant, you know, you got 4 minutes. Let it roll, you know, give me, you know, a good time. You know, when me and the Giant did the pay-per-view, Kurt Hennig's dad called me in the locker room. He said, "That's how you take it, that son of a bitch," he said, you know, because I put it on him, you know, and, you know, but I've never worried about where I was at in the ring with her.
So suffice to say, if you ever did feel like things got out of hand and you needed to defend yourself, you never doubted that you'd be able to. If you
Oh,
had
of
to.
course. Well, you see, that's the thing, but we respect each other too much. You know, everybody, Ming, there's some stuff going on Facebook right now about he and I. My wife was there. We did a 5-week tour. And I mean, that's an animal right there, brother. I mean, that's a badass. And we're winding down the tour, and we're sitting there, and I mean, 5 weeks of being is a tall order. And he come up to me, and he says, "Scotty," he says, "you know, I love wrestling." And I said, "That's great. I love wrestling. You too, man. You know, he's such a good friend." And he says, "You bring out the animal in me." And I said, "God, put it back in." No, because I mean, we're just killing each other. The hair on my chest, I don't shave my hair like the pretty boys do. But one day when we got back, WCW, and I put my singlet on, I went like this, and I went, "What the hell was that?" And all this hair was going, and I looked at my chest, it was like yellow, and my hair dyed. From him chopping me for 5 weeks, and I'm just going, I said, "Man, come over here," because everybody complains about me, you know what I mean? "But I'm sorry. If I could grow it back for you, I would."
That's amazing. More questions? Yeah.
What were some of the favorite venues in the world?
Oh, shit. The Budokan. Oh, Corrigan Hall's one of my favorites. We call it the mini Madison Square Garden in Japan. It's got more history to it. In this business, if you get a chance, you got to wrestle there. They'll run 4 or 5 shows there a day on the weekends. Heck, they'll run 4 or 5 shows on a holiday weekday. But there's a lot of them in Japan. You know, I mean, the Tokyo Dome was awesome. In the States, I didn't I only had a 5-year run here. So they all kind of look the same, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of another two-parter. So, when you're in WCW in like 96, 97, 98, it's just getting like red hot. Like when I look back on that, I guess it's my favorite time in wrestling. It feels kind of like almost magical. When you were in that in the moment, did it feel like things were just like amazing, or did it just feel like another day?
Oh, it was unreal. I remember we're in the ring, and Hogan, I mean, there's a whole NWO, and we're standing there, and they're just going crazy. And Hogan said to me, "Scott," he says, "I've never seen, this is unbelievable." And I'm just going like, man, it's so easy to do what you're doing with crowds like that every Monday night. I mean, it didn't matter where we were. In New Orleans, is it Silver? No, wait, no, that's Detroit. Superdome.
Right.
They cut that thing in half, and they could have took another chunk of it off. I mean, we were selling out everywhere we went. I mean, and it was Vince was giving tickets away to keep up. We were giving tickets. There was no freebies. And I mean, it was awesome. Everybody was, it was just a great time to be in the business.
Yep.
You got any favorite stories on you and Don Dallas stage or?
I ain't got much good to say about that guy. No, no, DP, he's okay. Dallas is all right, but I mean, I ain't got no,
He's not trying to recruit you for his yoga stuff?
he,
Or is he? And you
no,
took that?
he sent me a video, didn't he? First the heart monitor, make sure I could, yeah, right. No, DDP, I met Dallas in, AWA, he was,
Manager?
yeah, who's he managing?
Is it Bad Company? Yeah.
Diamond-
Paul Diamond and Pat Tanaka?
Yeah, and, I was young, you know, and I came in and, you know, they looked like a couple of jobbers to me. I knew they had the straps, but I mean, I put it on them. And when I got, and DDP is just going crazy outside the ring. And, so when I tagged out, you know, he's over there, I don't know if he had a blowhorn there or not, but we started off on the wrong foot, put it that way.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So there's that infamous Flapjack Norton promo that everyone,
Yeah, sure is.
you need 100 pancakes. So A, did you really enjoy that, or do you think it was kind of silly but you just went with it? And then B, how many flapjacks did you actually?
Let's go to IHOP and find out.
Yeah. When I was tagged with John Nord, just start out, you know, the lumberjacks, I'm going, God, you know, I mean, I don't want to be a freaking lumberjack coming to this business, you know. And anyways, we're doing TV down Mankato, and Greg Gagne comes up to me, and he says, we got a new name for you, Scott. And as soon as he said it, Nord just fell over. And I says, what is it? And he said, Flapjack Norton. I says, don't do it. I swear, you call me you know, me and Greg, I like Greg, but he was in danger when he did it. So anyways, me and John hit our music, we're walking out, and all of a sudden you know, Yuka and John and Flapjack Norton. And I said, that son of a bitch. You know, but by the time, and that night we had 3 matches, you know, and it started working, you know, the interview, you know, I mean, he and I as a tag team, I didn't like it. The people loved it. I mean, I was getting spatulas tossed at me in the ring, and people were leaving me pancake batter, and, you know, it was ridiculous. And then the day when he did that interview, Eric was supposed to interview us and ask us a few questions, and all of a sudden John just broke off in this thing about the big knife, the big fork, the big chair. And he was just shooting off his hip, and the hardest thing I could do is not laugh I was ready to die. I'm going, where the hell did you come up with this stuff? But then again, it's Johnny, you know. And that interview, I mean, every time I see it, I love it. It's funny as hell. But as far as how many pancakes I eat, more than most, probably.
That's a good answer. A lot. We'll say a lot. Questions? Yeah.
So, you mentioned Rick Rude is a good friend and stuff, so out of the wrestling business now, who were some of your good friends who
Oh.
keep in contact? You know,
Well, getting back to Rick, when I met Rick, I was leaving high school or junior high school, and I saw him hiding behind some wrestling mats. And I went over, I said, hey man, what are you doing? He said, oh, these older kids are gonna kick my ass. And he says, I'm gonna wait till they're gone, you know. We're just 7th grade. And I forgot all about this story, but Rick brought it up to me on a private flight with me, Eric, and Bag was on it, and Luger and everything. He brought it up. So anyways, I said, well, if we both leave here, they can mess with us, you know. We walked out and we just became inseparable. So me and Rick was the most competitive guy I ever met in my life. Even then, we'd start arm wrestling. And finally, Rick, you know, he wanted to bet the ice cream sandwiches that he got for lunch. And I was a better arm wrestler than Rick, but if Rick would have stayed with the arm wrestling, he'd have been a world champ in his division weight class. So I mean, I never ran out of ice cream sandwich. I beat everybody in high school, and so did Rick, besides myself. And then we just grew up from there, you know. Then we When we're both 18 years old, we're going to the Minnesota State Championship, Upper Midwest 5 State Championship. We went up to Canada one time, and we traveled a lot. And it was just, it was awesome. But then Rick got, he got that bug, and pro wrestling was perfect for him. I wasn't ready for it at that point in time. But that's where, it started with me as far as my arm wrestling thing. He went, and I mean, after I did I won the state championships, I won the Upper Midwest Championship. And then Steve Hill, he was a promoter for the World Championship, and he heard about me. And next thing you know, I'm on my way to Vegas for the Worlds. And I was, I won everything up until then. I just killed everybody right off the bat, and then I got my ass handed to me. 0-2, I said, oh boy. But after that, I just went to work, and I stayed with it. But yeah, Rick was an unbelievable friend. As far as friends in the business, me and Hawk were, these guys are gonna kill me. Kurt, all of them. We've so many guys from Minnesota, so many guys from Japan. When you're a lot of guys, Nash says he didn't get into business to make friends, he got into business to make money. Well, Kevin's got a lot of friends in the business too. It's a good business, and there's a lot of good people. There's some pricks in it, just like anything else. But I have no shortage of really good friends in pro wrestling.
Very cool. More questions? Yeah.
All the Nash cool, or they
Both.
Depends on the day.
They could do both of them really good.
There's a story that Chris Jericho tells about how Scott Hall was like bullying him backstage, and then apparently he said that you went up to Jericho and you're like, stand up for yourself next time. I'm gonna say something.
Yeah.
Was that all like legit?
Straight up.
He ended up standing up for himself then.
We're all trying to make it in the business, and you want to be comfortable in the locker room. And sometimes you're because your status is because you're really a great wrestler, your status is you're a badass, or whatever it is. But, Chris is coming up, and he's a great wrestler, but Scotty wasn't showing no respect at all. And it was bad. And, I saw it. I just didn't like it. And I told Chris, I said, man, if you don't do something about it, say something, I'm gonna. I knew he would. I met Chris years before that. He challenged me to an arm wrestling match when I was first working for the AWA, and he was about 10. And I repped his, he was setting the ring up. And, Chris is a good guy. And so we had a little history there, and I kind of felt like, what? Scott's already established in the business. He knows. When you ask me, they could be, they dicks or what? I say both. They'll tell you. But I got tired of it. And if Chris wanted to say something to him, I would have. Because somebody's got to police the locker room a little bit. It's uncomfortable. If you see somebody do, and it was nonstop for a good month. And, Chris was with me over in Japan, and we got a little bit, it's different over there. I was the guy that took care of that locker room over there. I guess I, kind of took, a little bit, I remember Eric Bischoff coming up to me, he says, Scott, he says, I'll pay you extra if you take, make these guys do some of this stuff. I said, Eric, you go talk to Scott Steiner about that, if you don't want to do a finish or whatever, but no, as far as the locker room, yeah, that happened, but,
Interesting how there's always bullies, and then there's guys who could have been bullies like yourself or Ming, and you weren't. You went the other way with it to stand up for somebody who's getting bullied and fighting for their spot.
Well, yeah, we used to go out. We went out with Ming one time, me and my wife were on the road and just having a blast, and Ming used to stand, take it easy, brother, I make sure this guy don't. I said, Ming, I'm okay, man. he used to babysit me, but, you know, Megan, he's another guy. If he'd have seen what that was going on there, he wouldn't let it happen. But yeah, I mean, yeah,
It just shows that you can take care of business and still have your integrity, so that's commendable.
but I mean, in the lock back there, that's us, you know, I mean, I seen, you know, maybe it's a bad time to bring it up, but Vader, I mean, I'd never want to be treated like that by the people that you're with in the group. You know, I mean, I wouldn't want anybody going behind my back saying, well, we'll say we're going to this restaurant, but I'll see you at this one, you know what I mean? And that happened, you know, and I just said, I made sure when I went into the business, in the locker room, anywhere I went, treat people right. And it worked, you know, because it's easier, you know. I mean, when we get in the ring, and you know, you want to turn the heat up, man, I'll turn it up until it's on high, you know. I mean, it's fine, but there you respect each other.
Well, it's like anything in life. I mean, just be good to each other. It's not really that hard. So.
But you see, when in our business, when you get to a certain level, and a guy disrespects somebody coming up, it hurts him.
Yeah.
And it makes him feel awkward, and then it spreads, and it makes everything harder when you're not accepted in the group. That's why I said what I said to Scott or to Chris that night, you know, because it's you got to take care of the people who are coming up, you know. I mean, 100 guys took care of me, helped me out, especially starting in the business late. I started when I was 30. It wasn't like I was a young pup. And a lot of guys helped me along the way, you know. So I just kind of like to, you know, wanted to do that myself.
It's the right thing to do. More questions?
Did I wear you out? No?
I've always been a fan of the Road Wild shows. Do you like the concept of outdoors with like?
Loved it.
Any fun stories with the Sturgis shows?
Oh, that was all. Any kind of stories?
Yeah.
None I can tell here. No, I mean, no, it was, Sturgis was great. I guess the one story that I heard was kind of funny was Steiner's riding on his bike with Bischoff, and they got the group going. You know, everybody thought they rode the bikes 3,000 miles. It's bullshit. They had them trucked up to about 50 miles away from Sturgis. Then they rode in. But anyways, they're riding in, and Steiner, you know, he's crazy. And he sees these antelope off on the side out in the wood, I guess the prairie, right?
Yeah, the planes, yeah.
And he pulls out a 357, he starts, here's Eric. I mean, otherwise, it was just a regular wrestling show, you know. But it was fun, it was great. Meeting Jay Leno there was cool.
Yeah.
It was stupid, but it was cool. I mean,
Something different.
when he wrestled, remember he wrestled Hogan, right?
Yeah. Hogan sold for him and everything.
Yeah, but, you know, no, but that was a great, that was Eric's baby. He loved that one, you know. Then they made it change, Hog Wild, right, first year, then they made us change it. Yeah, that was a good pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's cool to see a different concept.
Oh.
It was just once a year, and it was totally different than everything else. So yeah, it was fun in that way.
We got, you know, that's when Rodman was an NWO
Right.
member, and we had to get him out of there because they're going to kill us. Oh, as a matter of fact, they were throwing this, I can't even believe I forgot about this one. They were throwing everything they had at us in the ring, and we had to all circle around Rodman and Hogan, you know, take care of the targets. And and they had the bikers lined up around the outside of the ring. And this biker's got a bottle, and he goes just like this. And I says, you throw that stuff? And he went, oh. And I turn around, and also hit right in the back of his shoulder with the bottle. And me not really realizing where I was, normally I would just go right over the top rope, no problem. But this ring was elevated like 8 feet. And when I went over the top rope, I mean, I didn't realize I had that far to go down. And by the time I got to I was going to kill this guy. And he left his motorcycle there, and I think I might have took out the headlight or whatever. But, but yeah, that's about the only thing that went wrong there.
You taught him a lesson. Who else? Yeah.
Oh, shit, yeah. About 1,000 of them. The best one was Kurt. They're bringing in, the big, God, Ultimate Warrior.
Oh, yeah.
So they're bringing the Ultimate Warrior in. They got all the guys besides Hall, Nash, and Hogan, of course. We're all hiding underneath the ring. And this is for about 5 hours. And it's hot. And we're underneath this ring. And I mean Stevie Ray, Brian Adams, Mach, big guys. And we're all huddled under there. And we got phones, we got fans trying to keep us cool. And we're laying on these mats, like moving mats. And I mean, everybody's starting to cramp up and we're trying to stretch. And, you know, we got a phone so in case something goes wrong. So anyways, we're sitting there and all of a sudden Kurt goes, give me that phone. So I handed him the phone and he says, somebody better get me a bucket. I got to take a dump. I looked at Kurt, I go, what? And all of a sudden, I mean, it was just like, it was like clockwork. He said, I need a bucket, and all of a sudden, right underneath, here's a 5-gallon bucket. The arm was out, and all of a sudden, I says, Kurt, what in the hell's the matter with you? So anyways, he starts hunching over the bucket, and that's when we're wearing the jeans and the tank tops. And I hear him unbuckle his belt. I says, you can't be doing this shit. And so I'm kind of like burying my head into the blanket because, you know, everybody's complaining, and all of a sudden, I look back up and he did it. And to find out what Kurt did was that he ate a box of X-Lax, 3 Butterfinger candy bars, and like 6 hard-boiled eggs. And I'm telling you, I threw up in my mouth. And we're all just like, now you got all these big pro wrestlers, we're all giant guys, and the bucket and Kurt's over here, and we're all over in this corner here. And we got the fans turning out, and you could tuck the thing down like this, and the people out there going, they're dying. So we were supposed to come out the trap door when the lights went out dark and take out the Ultimate Warrior. And I said, man, I told the guys, forget about him. I said, we got to beat Kurt's ass. Well, Kurt was smart. When the trap door opened up, Kurt crawled underneath this way, and he ran up the thing. So we come out the trap door. Everybody's looking for Kurt. He's gone. So we took care of Ultimate Warrior. Somebody hurt him. He tore his bicep. That was it. But so I said, you know, he's back at the locker room trying to get out of there. And this is when you could park your car, drive. It was you know, a hockey arena.
Yeah.
And then we come running, and here's Kurt in his Cadillac. See you fellows going on vacation. He's driving about 60 backwards. And he left. Yeah, Kurt, another real good one. I need to tell you this one. We're going to Japan. We're flying out of Detroit, he and I. And so anyways, we're going through customs. And we go through customs, and Kurt's just kind of laughing, and he's got this fart machine. And then, you know, he's doing it, and all these Japanese people walk by, oh, you terrible, you know. So as we're sitting on the plane, and they're waiting for one guy. So the whole plane's boarded, we're all sitting there. This Japanese guy comes running in, and all of a sudden he bows to the whole plane, sorry. And he reaches up to open up the overhead compartment. As soon as he touched it, Kurt goes, pfft. The guy goes, oh, no, not me. No. And so the guy, so anyways, he goes to touch it again. All of a sudden, Kurt, and he's doing it again. No, I didn't do it. Now he's got the morning glory drops, right? And all of a sudden, you could just smell it. And all of a sudden, the guy opens up the thing, and he's running back to his seat. Kurt's got that button. Just like that. So anyways, they're spraying the plane, and I know it's Kurt, you know, I can't say nothing. And we get all the way to Japan, and that poor guy, you got the Japanese line, and you got the American line going through customs. And Kurt just walked over casually to the guy, and he opened his coat up, he went, and the guy goes, you son of a bitch! And he was going crazy. And it's to a point to where they had to take him away. So Kurt he was the best, man. I mean, there's 1,000 stories about this guy.
That's amazing. I got a question. So
Uh-oh.
you had the size, you had the look, you had the experience. After WCW more, before WCW, did WWE ever reach out? Did you ever have any talks about going up there at all?
WWE?
Yeah.
I turned them down before I went to WCW. They brought me in for a dark match, and I did it, and I had the top spot in Japan, and they wouldn't. They offered me a contract, but they wouldn't offer me a deal, just zeros on the contract, and I'm just going, I can't do it. And I don't know, Vince might have taken. I know J.J. Dillon, who ended up working WCW, might have been one of the guys that I had a problem with my time in WCW. But it wasn't for me. I mean, Japan was for me. It was just perfect. I mean, so when I did my deal with WCW,
Well, I was just gonna say WWE probably wouldn't have let you really be yourself. They might have given you some silly gimmick, and it might have been foolish to turn down what you had going in Japan for a gamble like that, right?
yeah, I mean, Masa Saito, the guy I worked for, he was unbelievable. He was so, you don't get that lucky in this business he never lied to me in the 18 years I was there and the time I worked with him. I mean, everything he said, it happened. And that don't happen all the time in our business. And he told me he asked me, he says, you trust me? And I said, I trust you, Masa. And I mean, this is when he was putting me through hell to get to the place where they wanted me, to be that WGP champ. And, he was probably the reason it just worked perfect for me because he was in my corner. If you ain't got somebody in your corner in WCW, you're shot. If you ain't got some kind of leverage on them, you're shot. I mean, because a lot of people do, and it's just the way the business is, And I had my, not leverage, but I had my niche was there. So, I mean, I just couldn't, it was too good.
No regrets then?
None,
Awesome.
no.
Okay, we probably got time for one more question. Who wants to give us the best one of the night? Come on. Right there.
Any advice for any aspiring wrestlers come up today?
Were you the guy I just talked to a couple hours ago? Did you come and shake my hand earlier?
No, I didn't.
Oh, it was you? Do it, just keep working. Just like when I went to Portland, Master told, when I got done with Brad's camp and thought I had it going on, he says, I thought I was going to Japan. I thought, man, here we go. He said, you need to learn how to work in front of a camera, and you need experience. And that's the bottom line. Now, Portland was an unbelievable territory. Everybody went through Portland. They don't have them no more. So, I mean, to get this business down, you got to get down in the ring. You might think Bad News Allen told me when I was about 3 years in the business, he said, Scott, you might think you're getting it, but 5 years from now, you're going to get it. And you're going to go, what the hell was I thinking? And it's true. You got to get in the ring and you got to work. It's just work. You got to be, if you don't experience it, don't do it. A lot of, like they see guys now, they get 3, 4 different moves they do, matches, and they do that every night. And they're just like, that's that. That's who they are. You got to change it up. You got to be able to work with everybody in the room. Big, small, fast, short, whatever. And you got to work. And it's the only way. Some people are naturals at the business, but most of us ain't, and I mean, the more you're in there, the better you're to get. So like, you said you're wrestling 3 times today, right? I'm sure you're wrestling again tomorrow. That's what you got to do. And don't do the same match every time. Don't do the same anything. Challenge yourself. And, you gotta give it. 'Cause it's, you get hurt, just keep going. You gotta work through it. You gotta push through it. When you get your shot, you gotta take it and go. That's the hard part, is getting your shot. And once you get it, wring its neck. That's the only thing I can say, you know.
Get everything out of it that you can. Well said.
Yeah.
So, what keeps you busy these days? You're doing stuff like this. You're making some independent shots.
Yeah.
I think, did I read you're working on a book? Is that right?
I am.
Cool.
It's done. It's been 5 years. We've been going at it. Me and a guy named Adam Randus. It's the best thing I've ever done in this business. I mean, I had a great career, a great run. Did a lot of good stuff, but this is really going to cap it off. It's going to be a really, I'm proud of it. And when I first went to do it, Tammy, she says, when she was taking care of my stuff when it was just the .com, way back, selling T-shirts, my website and everything, this guy named Adam Randus would go back and forth talking pro wrestling and Japanese, all this. And he would do some writings and everything about me. And Tammy said, you need to do when Scott gets ready to do his book, and he's gonna. And I said, I don't want to do it. I just didn't want to do it, you know. And this guy, Adam, he was a young kid at the time. And now he has everything about my career. And he's done such an amazing job putting everything chronologically through in this book. And it's going to be good. I'm really proud of it.
Any timetable on when that's coming out, or we don't know yet?
End of the year, hopefully.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So that'll definitely be something to look for. You've had an incredible career, and that'll put it all in one little, encompassing book, and I'll be certainly willing to pick that up myself. How can people keep in touch with you these days? I know you got a Twitter handle.
Facebook, Twitter, same stuff, you know.
Cool, and I know the Twitter's at Scott Norton, right? It's real
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I got a couple matches coming up. I'm gonna stay in there as long as I can get in the ring, right?
There you go. And on that note, PWP Live is doing live matches here at Okamicon all weekend long over in the X Hall. Our next event is supposed to be at 4 o'clock. That's pretty soon. We're probably going to push it back like 10 minutes. So like 4:10, come check it out. No extra charge or anything. It's all included with your ticket. So come check it out. Scott is here all weekend long, all the rest of today, all tomorrow, all Sunday. Go check out his booth. Say hello. Get a picture, get an autograph. Booker T is a couple tables down too. So,
Yeah, come on by.
ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Scott Norton, thank you so much, sir.